Welcome to Creepy Narratives. Tonight, we delve into the haunting legacy of St. Agatha's Church and the tale of Sister Mary, based on a true story where the boundaries between life, death, and truth blur. In the quaint town of Marlowe, overshadowed by its towering trees and surrounded by whispering woods, stands an old church, St. Agatha's. Generations had come and gone, but the church remained, its weathered stone walls telling tales of ages past. While the town expanded and modernized, St. Agatha's Church retained its old-world charm, making it a hotspot for history enthusiasts and tourists. However, locals rarely ventured near, especially after sundown. They believed it was cursed, haunted by Sister Mary, a nun with a sorrowful past. Years ago, Sister Mary had served in St. Agatha's. Known for her piety and kindness, she was the epitome of a devout servant of God. She was particularly fond of children and would often be seen playing with them in the churchyard. The townsfolk admired and respected her. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across St. Agatha's. Sister Mary, having finished her evening prayers, began the familiar ritual of closing up the church. The glow from the candles illuminated the age-old frescoes adorning the walls, and the scent of burning incense lingered in the air. As she was about to extinguish the last candle, a creaking sound echoed through the vastness of the church. The main door had swung open, revealing a group of rugged men, their faces obscured by cloaks and the darkness of the night. Their intentions were clear from the glint of their eyes and the bags they carried. They were after the church's relics and treasures. Sister Mary's heart raced, but her faith was unwavering. She stepped forward, her voice firm, yet filled with compassion. "Children of God," she implored, "this is a house of worship. Please turn away from this path. It's not too late to seek redemption." One of the bandits, perhaps the leader, sneered. "We're not here for a sermon, nun," he spat out. As he advanced, the moonlight revealed a scar running down his cheek, hinting at a life of violence and crime. The tension in the church was palpable. The other bandits began ransacking the place, but Sister Mary's focus remained on the scar-faced man. Their eyes locked, a battle of wills taking place. Then, in a fit of rage and perhaps feeling challenged by Sister Mary's unyielding spirit, he lunged at her. The tragic events that followed would haunt St. Agatha's for decades. The next morning, the town of Marlowe woke up to the shocking news. The church's doors were ajar, treasures scattered, and in the middle lay Sister Mary, a martyr for her faith and love for St. Agatha's. The community was paralyzed with grief. Families mourned, children cried, and anger bubbled underneath the surface. The church became a site of mourning as the townsfolk paid their respects. Despite the efforts of the local constable and a few brave souls who tried to track down the culprits, the bandits vanished, melting away into the vast wilderness or perhaps finding refuge in another unsuspecting town. After a period of mourning, when the doors of St. Agatha's reopened, it wasn't the same. Whispered tales began circulating amongst the townspeople. Mrs. Henderson, the baker's wife, was the first to mention the haunting hymns she heard one evening as she passed by the church. They were melancholic, yet beautiful, echoing with sorrow. Young Thomas claimed to see a silhouette, unmistakably that of a nun, praying fervently at the altar under the pale moonlight. Curiosity turned to fear when, one by one, visitors to the church began to speak of a sudden cold that would envelop them, a feeling as if they were being silently judged by unseen eyes. Word spread, and soon, even the bravest souls in Marlowe hesitated to approach the church after dark. It became clear that Sister Mary, in her undying love and commitment to St. Agatha's, remained its eternal protector, watching over it from the realms beyond. The haunting tales of St. Agatha's spread beyond Marlowe, drawing in the curious, the skeptical, and those seeking a brush with the supernatural. But to the people of Marlowe, it wasn't just a tale. It was a somber reminder of a fateful night when evil had momentarily triumphed, but love and faith refused to be vanquished. The weight of history pressed down on Peter as he stepped into St. Agatha's. The entrance door groaned softly behind him, sealing the journalist into an atmosphere thick with ancient memories and whispered tales of the supernatural. The first sensation to grip him was the stark drop in temperature, a coldness that seemed more emotional than physical, as if the church itself mourned Sister Mary's loss. Around him, the time-worn pews bore silent witness to countless prayers, hopes, and confessions. Setting up his cameras and audio equipment at strategic locations, Peter ensured he could capture any hint of the paranormal. The dim glow from the streetlights streamed in through the stained glass windows, casting an array of colors on the stone floor. Time wore on. The eerie silence was occasionally broken by the distant hoot of an owl or the rustling of leaves outside. With each passing hour, Peter grew increasingly skeptical. He had nearly resigned himself to packing up when a faint sound made him freeze in his tracks. The sound was almost imperceptible at first, a soft, melodic voice humming a tune that seemed both mournful and soothing. The acoustics of the church carried the hymn in haunting echoes, making it challenging to pinpoint its origin. Curiosity piqued, Peter followed the sound, navigating the labyrinthine corridors and archways. As he wandered, the singing grew louder, guiding him to the church's old confession booth, a relic from an era gone by. Hesitating only for a moment, Peter gently pushed the door open and stepped inside. No sooner had he settled on the wooden bench than a rush of wind stirred the curtains of the booth. The atmosphere inside was stifling, heavy with anticipation. From the other side, a voice, soft as the flutter of a moth's wings, yet filled with immeasurable grief, whispered, "Confess your sins." The sincerity in the voice caught Peter off guard. Swallowing hard, he replied, "I'm not here to confess. I'm here to find the truth about Sister Mary." A weighty pause filled the space between them before the voice responded, "Seek the truth, but tread with respect. The past bears wounds that have not healed." As the last word echoed in the confined space, a sudden brilliance filled the church. Peter emerged from the booth to find every candle alight, their flames dancing as if in rhythm with an unseen force. And there, at the altar, stood a figure bathed in candlelight, a nun, her silhouette a mix of both substance and shadow. Heart racing, Peter slowly approached, gripping his camera tightly. He aimed to capture what would be the most compelling evidence of his career, but as he drew near, the figure dissipated like mist before the morning sun, leaving behind only a locket resting on the altar cloth. With trepidation, Peter picked up the locket. Its cold metal sent a shiver through his fingers. He opened it to reveal a photograph of Sister Mary. Those gentle eyes, filled with compassion, seemed to look right through him. Flipping the locket over, he discovered an inscription, "Protect St. Agatha's. My spirit remains until justice is served." In that instant, Peter's mission became clear. It was no longer just about capturing a ghostly encounter. It was about honoring a memory and seeking justice for a soul that could not rest. The weight of responsibility now rested on his shoulders, as heavy as the history that filled the hallowed walls of St. Agatha's. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Peter took it upon himself to investigate the unsolved murder of Sister Mary. With clues from old newspaper archives and hints from the elderly in town, he managed to uncover the identities of the bandits. Though they were long dead, their descendants still lived in Marlowe. The revelation caused an uproar in the town. In an act of redemption, the descendants publicly acknowledged the sins of their forefathers, offering a formal apology and donating to restore St. Agatha's to its former glory. Weeks after the revelation, visitors to the church reported a change. The air felt warmer, The hymns heard were more joyous than sorrowful, and the sightings of Sister Mary became rare. The town believed that Sister Mary's spirit had finally found peace, and her protective presence had transformed from haunting to blessing. As for Peter, he documented his experience, ensuring that the tale of Sister Mary was never forgotten. His story not only revived the legend of St. Agatha's, but also reminded everyone of the importance of confronting the past, no matter how painful, to find redemption and peace. As we close this chapter of St. Agatha's haunting tale, remember, the line between the known and the unknown is often a shadow's breadth. Thank you for joining us on Creepy Narratives. Sleep well, and until next time, keep questioning the darkness.